The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
All right, it's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. It's 8 o'clock, and it's the Know the Show hour, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. We're going to ask you 3 questions about things we talked about in the last hour. If you can answer all 3, first person through at 312-591-8300 gets tickets to the 1975 at the Allstate Arena, and you will meet the 1975. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So, question number 1. What kind of drink does Bears quarterback Tyson Bagent drink? That's question number 1. Question number 2. What word did Kenzie say way too much of as a kid? That's question 2. Question 3. What did Brian find behind the wall of his apartment? That's question 3. Answer all 3 at 312-591-8300 right now, and you are the winner.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and that is the Foo Fighters who were on Saturday Night Live this Saturday night. So
I can't wait for this episode.
yeah, Nate Bargatze, your boy,
Yes,
the comedian.
and the Foo Fighters. It's
hosting.
a dream, baby.
What a show. So, also a show, the 1975 at the Allstate Arena. You will meet them if you can answer these 3 questions. It was the Know the Show hour, the 7 to 8 a.m. hour. And Drew from Gary checking in. Drew, ahoy.
Ahoy, guys. What's going on?
Okay, if you can answer all 3 questions, which we won't tell you if you're right or wrong unless all 3 are right, right now, then you get the 1975 and you'll meet them. Here we go. Question number 1. What kind of drink does Bears quarterback Tyson Bagent drink?
That would be Rockstar Energy.
What word did Kenzie say too much of as a kid?
That would be Shuttlecock.
And what did Brian find behind the wall of his apartment?
Clown wallpaper.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We can't say which one's wrong, but they're not all correct.
They're not all correct, Drew. I'm so sorry, buddy. What? It's true. They're not all right, but
It's true, Drew.
it's true. Sorry, ma'am. Keep calling. 312-591-8300. You got to answer those 3 questions from the 7 o'clock hour, and you will be the winner.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and we will have these tickets all week long for the show this Sunday night at the Allstate Arena, the 1975. Winner gets 2 tickets, and we'll get to meet the band. Get to meet the 1975. That's pretty huge. You can't buy that. We got it for you free here all week, right around this time. And still don't answer the questions for Know the Show from 7 to 8. Maybe Jenna. Jenna checking in. Maybe she knows. Jenna, ahoy. What's going on?
Good morning.
Checking in from Antioch. Okay, here we go. Know the Show. These 3 questions. What kind of drink does Bears quarterback Tyson Bagent drink?
Full throttle.
What word did Kenzie say too much of as a kid?
Shuttlecock.
What did Brian find behind the wall of his apartment?
Some creepy clown wallpaper.
You got it! There you go!
Yes! Yay!
This is literally the best day of my entire life.
Oh, my God. Oh, now my heart.
Aw.
Jizz.
I'm not kidding. They're my favorite band.
Oh, my God. Well, the show, correct me if I'm wrong, Bri Guy, isn't it this Sunday?
It is this Sunday.
This Sunday you're meeting
Oh, my
them.
God.
Oh, my God.
This is amazing.
Tell us more about what the 1975 means to you, Jenna.
Yeah, I've been listening to them ever since high school. Matt Healy and his inspiring words and just everything about them has been my entire life, I feel like, for the last 10 years. So I'm so excited to actually see them.
And you could actually, I'm just saying this, so you'll meet them. You could touch his hand, maybe. Shakes your hand.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So cute.
Aww.
Love it. Love it. Congratulations. You're at the show.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Now time for Head to Headlines. Now, what this is you deciding what we talk about next. At 312-591-8300, you text in headline number 1 or headline number 2. And the other story we'll never talk about again. So choose wisely. Think about it. Sitting there in a lot of traffic there on the Stevenson. You got plenty of time to kill. Here we go. Headline number 1. Man's body mistaken for Halloween prop lawn mowed around him.
Oh my God.
It's not funny. Oh,
How good are people's Halloween props getting?
too good.
Good Lord. You know?
That's headline number one. If you want to hear more about that story, text in headline number one. Headline number two.
Yes.
Son shoots father in stomach after argument over weed eater in Pennsylvania.
Well, he sounds like he was asking for it.
What kind of argument could you have over a weed eater?
I don't know.
First off, just an argument alone. Would you waste time doing that? I shouldn't get into it right now. Let's
Over
talk
weed eating?
weed eater, a weed eater. So 312-591-8300. That's headline number two. Whichever one you want to hear more about, please text in. And after Evanescence, we'll talk about that story. So text wisely. We'll never talk about the other story again. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Oh, every time I hear Evanescence, a flashback to Q101's Twisted Christmas. Remember, those tickets are out there for all the shows, Q101.com. Get them before they're gone because they all will sell out. So, head to headlines with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. You have two headlines to choose from, and based on your votes, we talk about the story you choose. Headline number one was, man's body mistaken for Halloween prop, lawn mowed around him. Oh, God. I don't know if I can get through it because
Really upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
Which is, I mean, they must have had excellent decorations because you can't think that that's the only decoration in the yard. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to have like a 12-foot skeleton in a graveyard, and then there's no way. You're like, well, that's their decor.
Well, first, before we decide if that's the one we're talking about, let's go to headline number two. Son shoots father in stomach after argument over weed eater in Pennsylvania. I really want to get to the bottom of that story, but you guys don't. This was the most lopsided victory in the history.
I don't know if we got a vote for story number two.
That's unbelievable. We get about 200 to 300 votes.
Way to go, Brian. Way to find two good stories. Jesus.
Doesn't that intrigue you at all?
What?
That the son shot the father in the stomach after an argument over the weed eater?
No, you picked a horrible choice.
I don't think so.
You can't do anything right.
Well, I got the one that everybody voted for, the moron.
There you go.
So there you go. There's our winner. Man's body mistaken for Halloween prop, lawn mowed around him. Did they really have to add that at the end of, of the storyline?
Well, that's the story, baby.
Well, I mean, first off, he's mistaken for a Halloween prop. And then someone mowed the lawn around him.
Well, I'm glad they didn't mow over him.
I know. Oh. Well, here we go. This happened in China Grove, North Carolina. Now, you were lived at least a little bit in North Carolina. You know where that is?
I actually don't know where that
Okay.
is.
All right, China Grove, North Carolina.
It's a very long state. You can be very far from the other
One of
side.
the longest.
It's a long state.
Well, it's kind of triangular, North Carolina, because it goes to the beach and then straight across top, then down that way.
I would put it at a rectangle way before a triangle.
Okay, really? You live there? It's not a rectangle, North Carolina.
Yeah, it is.
That's a side subject we'll get into in a minute. It's not a rectangle.
From here to here. What are you talking about? It's long.
not. You're thinking it's like Colorado, North Carolina.
I don't even know what Colorado looks like, Brian.
Well,
oh, no, I'm not thinking that.
A rectangle.
I'm not even sure what shape Colorado is, so no, you're wrong. That's not what I'm thinking of.
Let's put a pin in that one because I think I know for sure that North Carolina is not a rectangle.
How
It is
could a
too.
state be a triangle? That doesn't even make sense with
Yeah,
their
you
borders.
sound like, what are you talking about?
Because it's diagonal on the ocean, and then so it's straight across on the top, and then it kind of goes southeast, and then it goes up the side.
Okay,
to the
here's the
ocean.
deal. It's a state, so it's not going to be a perfect shape. And if we're picking what shape it's closest to a rectangle.
It's closest to a triangle.
No, it's not. I'm looking at it right now.
Is it closest to a rectangle, Gabe?
It kind of looks like a gun. It looks like a rectangle.
Exactly.
North Carolina is like a triangle.
First off.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh!
What?
I meant South Carolina.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
Why
sure.
I live there, Brian? I live in North Carolina, which is shaped like a rectangle.
How come you don't know South Carolina is like a triangle?
Because all I know is Petey Pablo, North Carolina. We were around a helicopter. Hey.
Hey, my bad on that one.
Does your girlfriend also live in Canada, Brian? Anything else you want to lie about today?
No, I just messed up the states here.
Yeah,
South
let's
Carolina's
listen.
like a triangle.
Wow.
Let's get back to the headline.
All right, let's mow over a dead body. What are you talking about, Brian?
Man's body mistaken for Halloween prop. Lawn mowed around him. Happened in China Grove, North Carolina.
In the rectangle state. Got it? Anyways, can we get to the next part?
Anyways, a North Carolina family is upset that their loved one's body was mistaken for a Halloween decoration and left outside for days. Robert Owen's body was found in China Grove. His family discovered that a lawn care worker mowed around his near-naked body, thinking it was a prop. A day later, someone else made the gruesome discovery that he was not a Halloween decoration. The family's obviously upset. They don't know how you could do that. Mow right beside someone, assume they're Halloween decorations at a house that no one lives in.
Well, it's an unfortunate time of year.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this happens in April. They're not making that mistake.
Yeah.
But to your point, Kenzie, about the other house must have been just incredibly decorated. No one lived there. So,
well, how did they have lawn service?
Maybe it was an HOA.
It took me years to be able to get lawn service. What do you mean no one lived there?
No one lived there.
Well, okay, now there's just a psychopath mowing lawns that aren't his? What are you talking about?
That's the real threat. Forget about the dead body.
Also, wait. Why was the dead body in front of this vacant house?
Well, that's the question. It was sitting there.
Wait, it is the question. It's the question I just asked. I'm aware.
I mean, that's the one that we don't know. Why he died in front of this house.
So it wasn't his house?
It was not his house.
Oh, my God.
His sister said...
So he was, like, murdered or something.
They don't know what happened to him. However, they did do an autopsy. I'll get to that maybe a little bit later about what they found out when they did an autopsy on him.
What do you mean you'll get to it later? We're talking about it right now.
There's more facts to get there first before we get there.
Okay, keep reading.
We'll get there a little bit more. We'll kind of ease them along here.
What do you mean, like, maybe we'll talk about it later? I would love to know.
Yeah, well,
this seems like the perfect opportunity to tell us.
But you see what happens is I tell you a little bit later, and then people stick around longer to find the answer. You see what I'm saying?
I would leave and Google it.
Is that right? You just okay, fine. They did an autopsy on him, and they found no signs of trauma or foul play.
So he's just walking around at a house that wasn't his, half naked?
Out front of the house. Now, you know, people in North Carolina, you live there, wear jeans and no shirt a lot of times.
How old was he?
He was 40 years old.
Okay, there's a big detail missing. Something happened. He just went to a house that wasn't his.
This is the mystery that's involved here.
He's half dressed, and he went to a house that wasn't his.
Right.
And then face down in the front yard died. And they're acting like it's from natural causes, even though he's like 40-something years old.
They just said no signs of foul play and no defensive wounds of any sort on his body. And then the lawn guy mowed around him.
Why didn't they have a lawn guy at an empty house?
That is really a good question. It's not in the story. I wish it was. I don't understand why nobody lived there, but there was a lawn guy. Sometimes people have homes, like there might be around Chicago, and you own a house that you're trying to sell. And so you go there and you still want the lawn to look good if you're trying to sell the house. So you still have a lawn guy mow the lawn. You know what I mean?
I guess.
I mean, you don't want it overgrown. If somebody owns the house.
And why is the family mad? You lost him in the first place, and it's everyone else's job.
Well, does people follow you around all the time, your family members?
No, but it's not some stranger's job to know who I am and that I'm missing. And you know what I mean? They're livid.
They're livid more so that the lawn guy mowed around him. They're not as livid that he died. They know he died somehow, but they just are upset that the lawn guy mowed around him and thought he was a Halloween decoration.
I just want you to know, this is exactly what's going to happen to me when I die.
I can't do this story.
The A to Z of that is really quite fascinating. It's important you don't skip a single detail.
What's annoying is that, I know this is exactly what's going to happen to me. I'm pissed about it.
And it's Brian who killed you. And it's like, oh, no foul play.
No, I'm not killing her, but I'm going to mow around her. Because, am I going to really get up and move Kenzie? I got to get to lunch.
No.
And I got to move the body.
And you're doing spirals on the grass like it's the outfield at Wrigley Field.
Harper doesn't have daycare today. Oh, God.
Oh, this poor guy, this poor family. Okay. That's really the whole story. There's a couple other things.
That's not the whole story. There is so many holes in that story. It's unbelievable.
Well, why was the lawn guy mowing at a house that no one lived in?
Whose house? Why? How did this guy end up there? Was there a car? Was his car there?
So he actually lived down the street.
So he was on a stroll?
Yeah.
And they don't know why he died. And he was half dressed?
He was half dressed. But
Do
then
we know if it was the top half or the bottom half that was covered?
It couldn't have been bottomless. He couldn't have. It was top. I'm sure.
Why couldn't it have been? What about this story makes you think that everything's adding up?
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Well, I want to make a special announcement. We've been doing God Bless the Gravy for 1 week. We launched our food drive for the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and we are now officially over 6,000 meals raised for your neighbors, for people like you and people you know out there that need some help, especially with the price of everything out there. So we're really excited about that. Thanks for donating over the weekend. God Bless the Gravy. The link is at Q101.com, and you can donate anything. Listen, $1 gets 3 meals. We've talked about this before. Just whatever you can do. If everybody did $5 right now, we hit our goal of 30,000 meals. You can do it very easily. It's not, don't worry about people calling you about it or anything like that. I think people get really nervous about doing things that way these days of donating. And this is really just all your money goes to help people eat. And there's never been an easier way to do it with God Bless the Gravy. A lot of people checked in. Carly just donated $50. And Adam, who's been consistent, who owns ACDC Closets, he said this. Good morning, guys. I am donating $22 a day, weekdays, until Thanksgiving. $22 a day.
Oh,
He's
my
gonna
God.
do that. So portions of the proceeds from now until Thanksgiving will be donated when new clients mention Q101 to him, by the way.
Ooh.
This guy's got awesome pictures up on his website about the closet redos
We
he
should,
does.
hire him.
I know. We could use some spiffying up around here without a question. Some closets to store things.
I meant, hire him to work at the station. He's doing all this promo for us.
I just pictured him doing some closets for us.
He
Why
does
do,
more
why do
promo
we need a
than-
closet, Brian?
I don't know. Store stuff. It's kind of messy.
We don't have closets around here.
Yeah, we don't. We could use some, right? He could put them in. Don't think our prize closet needs organizing? A new closet and everything?
No, I think the promotion team has done a fine job organizing the prize
How
closet.
many
I would
people are
never
you
say
going to
otherwise.
offend today?
Jesus, Brian.
It's still early. Still got an hour left. So, Adam, it's just Adam at acdcclosets.com. Reach out to him. He said the phone number's okay to give out. It's 312-388-ADAM. 312-388-ADAM. So, listen, he's an awesome guy to do that. $22 a day until Thanksgiving. Whatever you can do, we appreciate it. We like to give plugs to businesses because they can do a little bit more. And listen, he's a single guy doing that thing. He's one guy operation there, Adam. So thank you so much. God bless the gravy. Go to Q101.com. The link is right there to help out everybody, meaning the Greater Chicago Food Depository distributes food to over 800 food banks around the area, not just Chicago, over in Indiana, over in the Schaumburg and Downers Grove and Naperville and Arlington Heights and Chicago Heights and everywhere. God bless the gravy, Q101.com.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Get the sports in a minute on Chicago's great weekend of sports. But also a great weekend of partying, apparently, up in unincorporated Round Lake. So I wondered if this kind of stuff still exists, where if somebody has a big-ass party with several hundred people at their house. Do those still exist? I don't know. I went to things like that where people on the outskirts had a barn party and they had a band and kegs and all that. You ever been to a keg party at a house, Kenzie?
I remember in high school, they would do, I feel like it was more outdoor than indoor. Like people would have big bonfires and stuff.
Yes.
I remember that. It was never my jam. I like a nice little seat. I like some good food.
Case, the producer, had a barn. He grew up on land with a barn. Did you guys ever have a barn party there?
No, I didn't have any friends.
Oh, God. That's sad.
Look, we had all the space in the world. I had nobody to invite.
Did you ever think about having that and then you realized you'd be embarrassed if no one showed up? Is that how it went, or you just never even thought about it?
No, I never got to the point of planning. Who am I? Ghosts don't have phone numbers. What am I going to do? Call a tumbleweed?
That's sad.
It's okay. I'm here now. It all worked out.
It did work out. And all those people that wouldn't be your friends are still back there in Indiana.
Yeah. Screw
What's
that,
wrong
Indiana.
with Indiana? Why would you talk about it like that?
Well, Chase made it up here in the big time in the NBC Tower. They're down there in Indianapolis, his friends.
Big time. We're the tower, baby.
Well, what happened in unincorporated Round Lake over the weekend? Two Waukegan men were arrested after one threw a bottle striking a sheriff's deputy. Don't do that. It's terrible. When the cops had to break up the party, I think of the scene in Superbad when they show up to break up the party. They can't handle it. Cops are here. Drugs. So they went into the house and they broke up the party at about midnight because people complained who lived nearby. There was over 100 people disturbing the neighbors, having a big-ass party. Again, I miss that. I missed the part where there was
Cops getting called?
Yeah, well, I missed just
Disturbing people who are just trying to enjoy the neighborhood that they pay a lot of money to be in?
I'm not saying have a party like that with a house right next door, but you talked about having land, like someone that had a lot of land, they hire a band to play in a house, and there's kegs.
Now, when you say I missed that, did you at one point have a lot of land?
No, but I went.
So what do you miss?
No, we never had that. But I went to people's houses that had like a barn. I lived near the outskirts, so there's people that had a barn and like an above ground pool and a band and kegs and like a couple hundred people and people from other high schools. He didn't know who they were. And he kind of sometimes...
Was Dazed and Confused written about you? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Dazed and Confused is very much my life.
You sound like you're describing something that you weren't invited to.
Yeah.
You're like, people were laughing, and I know there was bars and kegs. But you sound like you're describing something no one told you about.
No, I didn't say I was invited, but I got there. Unlike Case, who didn't, had the place to do it at and didn't have friends come over and do it. I got to these parties. And... But listen, when the police are going to break it up, just leave in an orderly fashion. That's not what happened up in unincorporated Round Lake. When people maybe live in that area, you can describe the scene. People drove over lawns getting out of there, blocked people in with their cars. And again, don't throw anything at the police. That's terrible. They're just doing their job trying to break up the damn place that people called the police about.
What I want to know is you're like, I'm going to use this cup to stop this police officer. What are you, MacGyver?
It didn't work. And the poor guy got hit with a cup there.
Brian, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
In order to prove that you went to a barn party, can you give us a specific memory of something that happened at one you were at?
Oh, good question, Gaze.
Okay, I'm going to take you back right now, okay? I'm taking you back. And I've already made it very clear that I didn't have any game in high school, right? Is that clear?
It's clear.
Is that on the record?
Hey, don't worry about it. We got that.
I don't think you had to clarify.
I'm just adding in there that, back then I didn't have any game. So this was at, I should say her name. Okay, I'll say Tammy. I won't say her last name. It was Tammy's house, who had a barn. Her brother played in a band. They had the band that was playing there, and there was a lot of kegs, and people were laughing, and it was a really good time. However, a slutty girl from the high school over.
Jesus.
I'm just saying what she was. Because she actually talked to me at the party.
Well, she had a name. What was her name? Crystal?
It was.
Oh, Crystal Lynn's. You know how they get down?
She had a middle, Christy Lynn.
Okay.
So, when you have a middle name, when there's a lot of Lynn's in the middle. So she invited me to go outside of the party where the bonfire was and sit next to her. And I thought, okay, this is amazing. I'm actually going to maybe kiss a girl. This will be a wonderful thing. I don't have to do any work for it. She actually likes me. And we got out there, and she proceeded to talk about her biker boyfriend who got arrested before the party, and she has nowhere to crash because she was going to crash at his house, okay?
Okay.
He got arrested.
Would she live in a van down by the river? Where was she going to stay?
She was going to stay at his
house she came from?
She was going to stay at his place, but she had nowhere to go. So I thought, this is it. This is my opening. She goes, do you know anyone's house I could crash at? And I then said, well, you could crash with me. And she started laughing. And that's the story.
You throw yourself in the bonfire afterwards, or how did you recover from that? 1-2 punch.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You lived in a house with 3 other brothers and both your parents.
Yeah. There's no way I was bringing Crystal Lynn back to that house. There's no way.
That was not even a valid offer. Maybe that's why she laughed. She was like, don't you have bunk beds?
She
where is she supposed to stay?
Step brothers.
Yeah, where is she supposed to sleep?
So many rules, so much room for activities.
Yeah.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.